Thank you very much, Amy. Appreciate the nice introduction there. Kathy did the check of everyone in the room pretty much has one of these, so we know the convenience exists for this group of people as well. What I'm going to do today is, I often teach on this topic to our colleagues, our clients, and students. Today I'm going to do a little bit more reflection on what has it been for us doing 6 years of mobile ethnographies, and give you some insights, 6 of them today. So the first one is very straightforward. I won't spend much time here. Consumers have really pulled our industry into mobile. It's not the other way around. As recently as 5 years ago, when we were doing capabilities presentations, we would tell our clients we offer in-person qualitative, online, and mobile. We no longer talk about the separation of online and mobile because it's one and the same. Consumers, you can tell a consumer that this is an online study you're being recruited for. They say, sure, we'll do an online study. And you can even tell them it has to be done on a computer. What do? They do it from their mobile phone or their tablet. So it's very much blending. You have to think about mobile always these days. So secondly, you heard about this from Kathy already too. There's so many benefits. In my opinion, mobile is the one that has the most benefits out of everything in my toolbox as a qualitative researcher. And Kathy, it's interesting, the first 3 that I have are the exact same first 3 that you had for the client benefits in the same order. We did not see each other's slide decks, that just happened. I'm going to do these very, very quickly because I want to get into showing and telling some actual mobile studies. Greater convenience, heard that already from Kathy. With consumers in the moment. So we're capturing their ideas and their experiences as they occur. You heard that already as well. Living with them over time. A really good example of how that helped us and played out was we spent an entire semester with new college students, with their smartphone being the capture device. It's less intrusive than the way we used to do ethnographies. We would bring in a videographer and about 4 or 5 clients and maybe 1 or 2 researchers, including the moderator, and then we would go to their homes. That's a lot of people. Or go shopping with them. That's a lot of people. So this is much less intrusive. It's just their phone. The team, all of you, can be in many places at the same exact time, physically, figuratively, but this can be multiple places in the United States. It can be multiple countries. You can be everywhere. Like all other IDIs or in-depth interviews, there's no group bias. They're giving feedback without the influence of others. There are also multiple data collectors with this methodology, so they have many ways to show what is it that you mean. So there's pictures, of course, there's video, which you're going to be seeing in just a moment. There's text. But also don't forget about audio. It is a phone after all, and audio can be very effective, particularly in some emotional moments like the breastfeeding situation that you saw in Kathy's session. Because you are right there with them, watching over their shoulder, if you will, what you're seeing, if it's observational, or what you're hearing, if they're speaking to you, is very, very accurate. There's no lapse of memory versus if they come to a focus group, or you go into their home for that point of time interview with them, they won't remember all those little details. Doing the functionality, if you think about when you use your smartphone, everyone pretty much knows that that little triangle means push play to record, or the little camera icon means take a picture. That's across technology providers, so it's very intuitive for our participants to give us what we're asking for. Geographic sampling, it can be super precise. It can be people who just walked into a Target or into the car dealership to buy a car. Or it can be very broad, multiple countries at the same time. And with geofencing now, that's a newer feature of mobile, we can actually see if it's opted for a study where these people are at that moment. So we can validate if they are where they said that they are. That's particularly helpful with shopper insights work. And then finally, this is a good one. When you think about reporting back and doing the knowledge transfer, what we collect with mobile ethnographies is extremely visually engaging for the management team. And it gives you the opportunity to have some really great highlight videos that last. Moving on, so that's why you should do this. Now let's talk about designing for mobile. You have to do that from the very beginning when you start thinking about the study, even in the proposal phase. I'm going to bring it to life for you. So you have to think about everything, every interaction that you have, it's going to be on this tiny little screen. And so the first thing you have to think about is trying to avoid excessive words. Cut the copy. Use as few words as possible, and also think about using video for yourself. We always start our projects off with a welcome video, no more than a minute, max 2 minutes. So keep it really, really short. But it creates the bond with the participants, builds rapport right away, and it's how they're used to learning these days. You can see on the right-hand side the to-do list that they would see as they come into the study. We always start off, this is a best practice, with a test activity before the study begins. Just a simple way, this takes them like 2 minutes, but a chance to try out the platform before the real study starts. So the first time I ask for a real occasion, and I want to get that back from them, it's going to be accurate, and they'll know how to give me a video or a picture. The instructions is that video. A bit about me is always like a warm-up introduction, as you would do with regular qualitative. And then the my beverage moments, I'm going to show this to you in a moment, that's the journaling. And there could be more as well. Here's an example of something that would go into a proposal. It could also go in the beginning of the moderator's guide. And it really organizes how the time is going to be spent. From designing from a mobile standpoint, you have to think about really using that time and spreading out what you are asking of your participants. So it's not too much work. You want it to be a fun, engaging experience for them, not feeling like homework. And you'll notice down at the bottom, across all 7 days of this particular 7-day global mobile ethnography with guys tracking what they drink every time they have a non-alcoholic beverage. But that journaling goes through across all 7 days. And then layered on top of that, there are some created activities that we give them a little bit at a time. I'm going to show you a couple. On the day 4 of the study, we actually asked all of these guys in 3 countries to go to the store and try to find a beverage, non-alcoholic beverage, that they considered to be healthy. Could be for any reason. Find it, talk about that experience looking for a healthy beverage, then take it home, don't drink it right there, and then on video, tell us about that experience. So now we're doing taste testing, if you will, via mobile. We're getting that feedback. Healthy drinks was obviously the topic of this study, so we wanted to go a little bit deeper on that after the shopping visit. And like Kathy, doing reflections on journaling is a wonderful way to get really rich summation insights from their mouths, in their language. We don't do it daily, we do it always at the end, the final day of journaling. And I'm going to show you an example of that. And final questions as a placeholder. Put any you've learned in these 7 days being with them. This is where any, okay, well, let's go a little bit deeper on a theme that emerged. Let's explore it in the final questions. Okay, here's a video. This is from a beverage study also here in the US with women, and it's the end of their 5 days of their mobile ethnography.
I don't feel like I drink enough.
I don't drink nearly as much water as I should.
And I tend to not drink enough.
Also, I don't drink enough just water throughout the day. I noticed that.
I thought I would be making a lot more videos. I don't think I drink enough of anything during the day.
The irony here is these women were claimed to be heavy beverage drinkers, non-alcoholic drinkers, heavy water drinkers in particular. All of them were claimed to be in that camp, but yet when we saw their actual behavior, that's not what we saw. We captured 525 beverage moments in those 5 days. And there was just, as you heard, very little consumption of water. Video is king is my 4th insight here. You've seen a little bit of that already. I'm getting low on time here, so I'm going to just ask if we could just skip right over to, let's do Ellis, please, in the UK. We'll just do one of the 3. Terry, are you back there?
Okay, so in my fridge right now, you will find Diet Green Tea.
Terry, let's skip Garrick and
So
go right
here
to
in the
Ellis.
fridge.
Thank you.
So here in the fridge, not too much at the moment in terms of drinks. We've got some Schweppes original lemonade, some Schweppes tonic water, and the other drink, got a bit of milk here, and Coca-Cola. Been through with that, and that's about it.
Very authentic video. This comes from their pre-test. This is not from the real study. I can't show them on camera, so I wanted you to see, even just getting used to the platform, this is what we got. Super rich ability to get insight. Like Kathy, here's another point we share in common. Moderating is a must. A great case study. I can't share it with you yet. I don't have permission. It was just conducted by us 2 months ago, or wrapped it up, I guess, 3 months ago. And it was with Under Armour. And it was a huge study with consumers across the United States buying athletic apparel and athletic footwear. And we had to study them shopping in 8 different retail channels. It was a persona creation study. That was the point. And we had, in total, over 200 participants in this qualitative study. To get to that huge sample size, we pre-recruited and did a full-on mobile ethnography with about 140. The remaining ones were not mobile ethnography participants. They were mobile intercepts. So we used that geofencing to get people, as they were walking into one of the stores that we were studying across those 8 retailer channels, and it was unmoderated. And I will tell you, it was night and day what we got. We were hardly able to get to the point of gathering any insights from what we got from the intercepts versus what we got with back and forth probing based on what we were collecting from the regular mobile ethnographies. And the final one that I want to end on is, if you're doing global work, you need to be flexible. And that might even be relative to the platform or technology provider that you work with. So in the case of the guys, we used one provider, an app-based provider in the US and the UK. It looked like this. That didn't work for India. Culturally, people in India are skeptical about downloading an app to their mobile phone. So they won't do it for research studies, but we still needed their input. So what we did there is we worked with WhatsApp. You all know that, right? It's the one on the left. The app was allowing us to do concurrent one-on-ones or IDIs. On the right-hand side, it's chat-based. So it's a group format. An example where, to get that market, we had to be flexible. And we also had to work very closely with the local moderators in India, adjusting the activities that we had planned to make them acceptable for the culture over there. And the final thing I'm going to share with you is a fun video to show that video can work in non-English speaking markets as well. Very short little video from Mexico on a kids snacking study.
A mí me gusta comerme muchas palomitas de jalapeño, pero a mí me gusta más comérmelas de cabeza.
So just to show how we treat subtitling, clients can understand the gist of that video even though they don't speak Spanish. With that, I'm going to wrap up and take any questions. I want to say thank you for having me today, and I also hope to see more of you doing mobile ethnographies in the time ahead. Happy to entertain additional questions outside of today's time.